back and better than ever. The Drinking and Driving Podcast. We apologize for the long break here. That was unintentional. We had some technical difficulties with the recordings from Charlotte and the Illinois race. We lost everything, including our dignity after Charlotte. Holy hell, bud! We have some stories to tell about that. I think, how many beers did we drink? About 220.
It was 300
Oh.
over those 3 days.
And it was
For
more
5
than that
people.
because we picked up that last case on the last day. You guys
Yep.
said we didn't need it, but we needed it. But yeah, we had some trouble with our posting platform and lost all our data. We upgraded since then, and it won't happen again. This is going to be good. We're back, and we're well rested now after that hiccup. And we have only 10 more races until the playoffs start, so we're rested. We're ready to dive deep into the last 10 weeks of this season. And since you guys missed, not you guys missed it, we kind of screwed it up. It was mostly Dick's fault, but
Hey, that audio and visual equipment we picked up in Tennessee on the way to Charlotte, that was bullshit.
That was the
scammed
first
us out
time.
of everything.
First time we ever paid money for extra equipment, and it all got screwed up. Why the hell did we even go to Tennessee?
Yeah, Tennessee's a stupid state.
We got
Other
real
than
drunk.
Nashville.
We got really, really drunk on that night when we picked up the stuff. We started it on the podcast. We were
It's
getting
probably
pretty
our
loaded.
fault. We probably picked up the wrong stuff.
we started the podcast drunk in a hotel room, and then we just let it loose after that, and then had to drive to Charlotte next morning. And remember, I had to shit so bad that every time you opened your mouth, I got so mad at you. Hungover.
That was the
and
most
having
hungover
to
we
shit.
were the whole weekend, impressively. Even
Yeah.
after 300 beers.
Well, when you start buying margaritas that are about a gallon,
Bigger than your head.
Yep. Yeah. Then we went to got beers. Then we had bottles of wine. Then a ton more beers. It just we rallied. We got back to it. It took a while.
All on the company dime too. All for free.
Well, free to someone. I guess free
us.
to us,
Free to us.
but the Drinking
Until
and
we
Driving podcast, we're not going to
pay for it
profit. We used up all of our money, our own company's money. Okay, that's no good. But we do, if you want to help us out, we have these new Drinking and Driving cryptic camo hats. We got gray and we got black. Some of you guys picked them up at the Charlotte race when you guys came and saw us. You still can get your hands on them. We have a few left. If you DM on us on one of our social media pages, our Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram, or you email us at thedrunkpod@gmail.com, we can get you one of these for a small fee. I think we were going to do $20.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Any donation will
anything
suffice. 20, well, more than $20.
20 or more. No, whatever. I think we're gonna settle at 20. But yeah, get them. There's only a few left. It's they're really sick. We're both wearing them right now. Of course, we don't have our video on today. We look like shit.
We got a lot of compliments at the church tent wearing them too.
Yes.
Over
You
the
have to
weekend.
support local churches and eat their food when they ask you to eat the food. And we got their free giveaways, and yeah, it was a great time. I love that kind of thing at a NASCAR race. All the community gets together and just feeds everyone, makes everyone have a good time. I think they gave you like body wash or something.
Yeah,
'Cause
body
you
wash,
stunk.
toothpaste. Everyone stunk. Got a bobblehead.
Oh my gosh, the shower situation in the outfield. We were just outside of the stadium in the camper area, and man, those were some rough showers this time.
There's shit in the shower again?
Oh, unfortunately not. It actually may have been better. You know, I have this. Well, I'm a man with man parts, and you know when you when you're in these tight showers, you turn real quick. Well, it touched the wall, and I haven't felt the same since. I think I've ringworm now, something
Ew.
like that. But ugh,
I guess
yeah,
you have a
no,
big enough dong to do that.
I'm surprised with that
Can't
cold
contain it.
water. That cold water, it was
It
like
was
a
freezing,
freaking
but it
Tic
felt
Tac.
nice because it was hot as shit all weekend.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We couldn't have asked for better weather until it was freaking race time.
Yep,
Ugh.
beautiful the whole weekend until the race time. And even so, like it rained what 20 minutes maybe, and then they got scared and wouldn't race again. That's
I think
bullshit too. They
I
had all
think
night. Nobody worked in the morning.
yeah, I
Even
know.
the broadcasters were like, "What the hell? Why are we not going?"
Yeah, Christopher Bell takes the win in a very disappointing finish due to that 20 minutes of rain. And of course, I sat there and I sat there and I sat there and the jet dryers were just about pulling into pit row and they turned their lights off. And I'm like, "Here we go." And then the over the loudspeaker they say, "Special announcement. Christopher Bell has won this race. We're calling it." I was so pissed. I've never seen so many people just get up in like disgust because we were sitting there for. I I have no sense of time because I think at that point I had 26 beers, but um, it was disappointing. But
Yeah, and I mean, NASCAR had all of the right pieces in play too to keep going on that race. Kyle Larson just got there. Rain delay, perfect. Now he has all the time in the world to get suited up and get back in the car. And this would have been, a historic event for him to do that. And nobody worked Monday. It's Memorial Day weekend. Why aren't they even trying to go? They could have finished at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Who the F cares?
yeah, I don't know what that was all about. It really ticked me off. We back to Kyle Larson. What a very unfortunate, disappointing day for him. I mean, he was all ready to have like one of the biggest days in his career in racing history, basically. And he had hiccup after hiccup. Both races were screwed up and just very disappointing. There was a lot of work that goes into it, and they were filming a documentary around it. And I'm curious if they're even going to air it, because I mean, you you have a documentary show his progress for 8 months leading up to this race, and then the day of, everything for him fell apart.
Yeah, you had all this money involved, and they're just gonna cut it short. And I'm pissed personally because I had 3 outrights, and they're all in the top 10 going in that rain delay. They all look really good. Any one of them could have won. William Byron, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, kind of on the outskirts, but still top 10 running. I was so mad. It could have been a big day.
Yeah, yep. Well, if you guys didn't get a chance to come see us and come hang out, you still have the opportunity to see us in Daytona in August. So stay tuned for that. I know we were talking to some listeners that will be there with us. They actually shot us messages when our podcast did not drop, and we apologize. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, you stick with us, but we will see you in Daytona and keep listening. Let's move off Charlotte for a little bit because I want to cover everything that we missed, but there's so much that happened. So let's just touch on the Worldwide Technology Raceway in Illinois. It was a pretty good race. There's a lot of good things happened. And one of the best things that happened, freaking Austin Cindric comes out with the win. I think I said it from I want to say right after the Richmond race when we said who has the potential to win, who's going to win a race to secure their spot in the playoffs, and who's going to be fighting for that bubble spot. And I said it was Austin Cindric.
You did,
Or
and
was
I'll
that
give
you?
you credit for that. I was one of us. I don't know.
I have to
We
get.
think alike
I
a lot of the time.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm
have to
a
look
big
back in my
Syndicate
notes.
fan, as you know. Ever since I won that outright on his first Daytona 500, so I've been a fan of him for a while, and I approve if that was you who said it. And I'm so excited for him again to make playoffs. I
Yeah.
mean, the win. I don't know if he exactly deserved it, but I mean, you got to take the opportunity when you get it. And he ran a really good race anyway. He's going to come in second, but Blaney ran out of gas. Not sure whose fault that was yet. I don't know if it's anybody's fault, but somebody could have
So
gave him a heads up.
yeah, so that was a very unfortunate event because Blaney looked freaking fast. He looked really good, and so I heard what kind of happened. They're still not like 100% sure. There's no one really at fault, but what they did is they knew exactly how much gas they put into that car on the last pit stop, and they calculated almost exactly what they thought. But what they did miscalculate was how much gas was left in the tank when they did top it off. They thought there was a little bit more there, and so that's why they were just a little bit shy. Very unfortunate. I can't believe that. And you know what? We had that this week in Sonoma too. Well, I don't want to move to Sonoma yet, but we had Martin Truex run out of fuel on the last lap, and he just eked his way across the finish line using a starter. And I mean, races in a row, you have fuel problems. Let's talk about that in a second. But I just want to go back to Austin Cindric real quick. It was a much-deserved win. He deserves to be in the playoffs after the season that he's been putting together. I think there's a few guys that are going to be fighting for those very, very precious playoff uh, playoff positions towards the end, and Cindric might be one of those iffy guys that I don't know how well he'll show up for the playoffs, but he deserved that win. I mean, he finished fourth, second, and first in stage 1, 2, and 3, respectively. I mean, he was up
Yeah,
there all day. He was a fast car, and he gives Ford another win.
yeah, he qualified well recently. He's been up there. He's been in contention a few races, and finally breaks through here. So excited for him. Excited to see him in the postseason.
Yeah.
Back
All
at
right.
Daytona too.
Back at Daytona, it's gonna be awesome. And this year he's gonna already have his spot there. He's not gonna be fighting like last year, last race, and he's in. This race, Daytona's not actually the last race before the playoffs. It's gonna be Darlington, but still a lot at stake, and that's what makes those last few races really, really exciting. And I actually love it this year, where they actually have a break for the Olympic week, and then they go into the last 4 races of the regular season. So it's gonna be really fun to everyone reset, and then when they come back, it's all or nothing. So I know we just glanced on Charlotte and Illinois, but we got to keep it moving. We're going into Sonoma, and we got to look big picture because we only have 10 races left in the regular season. We're over halfway, and I
This
mean,
season is going quick.
I I can't believe it because usually this thing drags. It does drag, like maybe right around Coda through Darlington through the All-Star race, but then it picks up for summer. And
Yeah,
we're just gonna be flying now.
and everybody's
But
racing their asses off now, trying to get into the playoffs. That last spot, everything a lot more on the line now in these races. So everybody is being a little more aggressive when they can.
right. So let's talk Sonoma, where no one, no new person won a race, which would give him the automatic bid to the playoffs. You get another win. Kyle Larson, he looked unstoppable in the last stage. I mean, he had a very risky pitting strategy, and he was one of the last people, if not the last person, to take fuel, and and he had the potential to go back to the pit and out 30, 28. But the way that he raced that, he just went balls to the wall right before pit. Everyone else was was taking their good old time, packing that car with fuel. He was out there running the fastest laps of the whole day. He got himself a really good lead, and so when he did decide to go into the pit, he was 11 seconds in front. And so he had plenty of time, get in there, get out. And I think he came out of the pit, his last pit stop. I want to say 11th. I could be wrong there, but I mean, when you have a car that fast and you have a driver that experienced and that skillful, pack that thing with fuel. I mean, he just let her eat, and he just flew past everyone. Just kept passing.
Yeah, and I think he was saying in an interview after the race that he actually thought the racers in front of him needed to pit again And then when his crew was like, "Nah, you're just gonna have to pass him," he was like, he got a little nervous and just went balls to the wall there.
I did not realize that. That's funny. Let's talk about Martin Truex, who had a very good chance at winning
Truex,
this race.
he did. He got stuck behind Busher going in the last couple laps and couldn't really pass him, and that might have affected his fuel savings as well.
I
I
agree.
think if he could pass him a little earlier, he might have been able to, finish and maybe even hold off Kyle Larson as well.
Yeah, so my take on the whole fuel situation is uh you kind of gauge your fuel usage and your mileage, fuel efficiency, based on the beginning of your race. And what we saw here was not a lot of green flag laps back to back to back. And so on a road course, you're saving a lot of fuel because those caution laps take forever. So you don't know how much fuel you're actually using. And then, like you said, he's fighting Busher there at the end, and he's using way more fuel. The track only got faster throughout the day, so they're on the gas way more than they were the whole time. And I think it would make it easy to uh misread your fuel usage. I mean, I think Blaney was similar. I mean, it came to the same thing. You're fighting for the lead. You're using more gas than any other time. Mm. So I
Yeah,
don't know why
yeah,
that's been a problem all of a sudden though.
yeah. I'm wondering if there's something with the equipment. Maybe everybody's kind of in the same boat. Maybe NASCAR did something. I don't know how the equipment is actually maintained. If it's maintained by NASCAR and then given to the pit crews or what. I don't know. Maybe it's something with the new cars too. But I believe there were 7 cautions in the first 2 stages, and
Yeah.
the record is 9 for that race. So they ended up only tying that record. I think there were 9 in this race as well. So that final stage, not many cautions.
No. And I'll tell you the uh first two stages were really difficult to watch for me because every time there's a caution, that's a good 15-20 minutes that you have to wait. With
Yeah,
how long it takes to get everyone through a road course and clean it up and then, give people a chance to pit and then go back and around again and oh man, that makes it difficult for
yeah, it
me.
definitely was. And then you get the stage breaks too. We're used to kind of last year, 2 years ago, no stage breaks in between the road courses stages. How do you feel about that, by the way?
I don't
Do
like
you like
the
those
stage
stage breaks?
breaks.
I
I
don't like
don't.
them either. I wish none of the tracks had stage breaks. I think you
Yeah,
just go right through it, and that opens up to more strategy too.
I agree. I agree. Also, I say just race her out, just because then if you are gonna race all the way through, you're gonna see way more green flag pit stops and way more strategy, like you just said. I mean, you really got
Play
to plan
devil's
that.
advocate, I guess. It keeps the racers closer, so anybody could, come back from behind and win if there is a stage break. They could catch up on in the stage breaks, get another, go to the
Yeah,
pits
but
one more time.
I think I mean everyone's got to pit again, and that puts
Yeah,
them
but everybody
back, and
could
then
catch up. So it's not if you're a minute behind going to the stage break, you catch up to get back of the pack, but with
that's
on
true.
the
You did
same
have
lap
some
or whatever.
people, some cars were lapped on a track like this, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true for the back half, but honestly, for me, I don't care about the back half. I care about the top 10. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have
Hey, you're gonna
people.
care about the back half when it comes to the in-season tournament next year, and you
That's
got
true.
head-to-heads.
That's true.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it will. It will. Um, so how about did you? I don't know how much you watched of this race, but did you see the Chastain push up into Kyle Busch to wreck him on the second to
I
last lap?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Did they come out with anything afterwards?
Well, Chastain plays like, "Oh, I didn't know he locked up coming around the turn." Um, he just said, "Oh, I'm so confused about everything." Like he just acted dumb. He's like, I don't even know what happened. Like I don't know what happened in this whole race. I don't know what happened during that crash. I don't know what happened to the 8. I don't know what happened to my car. I just know that I locked up going around the turn. I hit him in the side, and then I just kept driving. I don't even know that. I didn't know he turned. I don't know he spun out. And all I gotta say is Kyle Busch was finally having a good race. He hadn't had a good race in a long time, and my God, he needs to watch his back because come next week in Iowa, where Kyle Busch has a legitimate chance at winning on the short track, man, he's gonna get turned. Chastain, if Busch gets a chance to turn him, he's turning that motherfucker.
Kyle Busch is making a lot of enemies this year again. Glad to see it. I love
Yeah,
it.
he's back.
He is back, Kyle F. Busch. Um, but he's at 17th in the playoff standings right now. He's had a abysmal year, and he does need a win here shortly. Even like higher finishes, I don't know if it's going to cut it. So he's going to have to win to get in. And yeah, he just can't finish a race. He has had some races where he looks like he's going to finish top 5, and then he gets wrecked in the last couple laps. And I don't know if that is intentional on other drivers, but yeah, I think he's getting frustrated this year, and he's just ready, seal the deal on one.
I think he's got it. I mean, if you look at the schedule coming up, he's won at a lot of these tracks. But yeah, I think he could do it. He seems to be in a crappy car this year. He seems to have a crappy attitude about it. And but at the end of the day, it's Kyle fucking Busch. Like he can pull out any win at any time. Like I say that about Larson and Hamlin. I think they're the same type of drivers. Like at any track, those drivers can win this thing. And so I wouldn't roll them out. I do want to talk about the uh uh, like just the playoff standings in general and just standings. Um and then we'll touch a few more things on Sonoma because there's a few good points. But let's look at the top 10 in the playoff standings. Because, well, I don't know how you feel about this. What do you think about having a regular season standings and then playoff standings? Why do you have two
I
different standings and they're not equal?
Yeah, well, you have the wins, right? So the wins get you in no matter what standing you are based on points.
Yeah, and regular season standings is just based on finish.
Yeah,
Playoff is stage and um yeah, stage
I
wins
have
and
no
then
idea
wins.
actually.
No,
Is that true?
that's
Okay.
true. That's true. And then of course your place at the end. But that's why people race for stage wins. It's playoff points. But if you look at the regular season standings, you got in the top 5 Larson, Elliott, Hamlin, Reddick, Truex. That's you know 2 drivers that have 3 wins, 2 with 1 wins, and Truex has 0 and still runs 5th. But then when you look at the playoff standings, Truex is the first driver out that doesn't have the well, not the first out, the first that is in the playoffs based on points, not an automatic bid. So I think it's interesting how that's different. I don't know if I love the idea of like you win you're in. I think it just should be a big advantage. Like you should get a shit ton of points, but it shouldn't be a definite. I think because you look at Suarez, like Suarez is going to go into the playoffs and he's going to be maybe 20, 22nd, 25th um, in each one of those first 4 races. Or I think is it 4 races until the cut or 3? I can't remember
I think it's
offhand.
3 every cut. Yeah, I
Okay.
disagree with you though. I do like the win and you're in. I think it opens up the door for a Cinderella story to happen in the playoffs. You can see a Cindric or Suarez just win a race during the
But they
regular season,
won't.
not do
But they
anything, and
won't.
then but they can. You
No, they
never know.
won't. No, okay, yeah, they could. I mean, if you
Okay, a
are gonna
16 seed could beat a 1 seed in
I
March
was
Madness
that's
tournament.
what I was gonna go with. Yeah, that happens almost never. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
has a
never
16
say
seed
never. You
ever
got
has a 16 seed ever won the national championship?
no, but you got
Exactly.
now
So
2
now you
drivers that
know,
you won't expect to see in the playoffs. You got Suarez and Cindric both up there. So just keep adding these guys that can potentially win. They could have they could be good at certain racetracks. Maybe the playoff racetracks are where they're good at.
No, because if you look at Suarez right now, he's not good at any of them.
Well,
Danny
Cindric
Suarez
Cindric
is.
has been looking decent at a lot of races. If he could finish, top 10, top 15 in the playoffs consistently, he could maybe scoot by. He could get past the Suarez. He could get past. You know what happened to Truex last year? He didn't make it very far in the playoffs. He was the regular season champ. You expected him to make the Final Four easily, maybe even win the whole thing. He only made it to the second round, I think.
I just.
Anything could happen in the playoffs. And
I
you're
don't
getting
know.
your best pit crews. If your teammates don't get in, you're getting the best car.
You know what Daniel Suarez's average finish is this year?
What is it?
19. I feel like
Okay.
you need to have
Okay.
an average finish of
Average finish of 19, top
in
12, get into the playoffs. So
I
he's
think
not that far back, and he has a win, which only
average.
7 other drivers have a win this year.
If you want the playoffs to be as the most competitive that you can possibly make it, put in the drivers that have consistently been the best drivers all year. I think.
I mean, you can't be the best driver all year if you don't win.
But okay, I'm gonna play
Who would you rather see in
stupid
there?
here. No, okay, wait, watch this. All right, Christopher Bell won the Charlotte 600. Okay, now I understand that he's a good driver and he probably deserves to win. That's his second win this year. It wasn't a fluke. But look at Bubba Wallace's first win. It was at Talladega, and it got rained out, and they called the race early. Well, he just pitted at the right time, or didn't pit at the right time, and he just happened to be the first one on the track at the time they called it. It's a fluke. You have to be able to
Some
play
can
in.
be a fluke, but Cindrix is not a fluke. Daniel Suarez is not a fluke. They won those races outright
Do you
by
know
being
how many
competitive.
people wrecked out of those races? How many? Okay, I want to know how many laps were led by drivers that were wrecked by the end of the race. There's
Doesn't
no
matter.
one
They
that
couldn't make it
they
through.
didn't
It's a
win those
marathon
cleanly.
race. It's not a sprint.
They did not win those cleanly. I mean, they may have not been the people that wrecked them, but they weren't the best cars out there. They just happened to be at the front at the end of the race. I mean, look at Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I mean, he won the Daytona 500. Was he the best racer? No, there was a freaking pile up like going into the. I mean, this wasn't this year. I think that was 2023. But it's ridiculous how a driver like that can go in and then they take away a spot from at this point in the year. You got Kyle Busch that's out. You got
Because he
Logano
sucks. He
out.
can't finish a race.
You have Bowman that's in the hunt, but he's not a guarantee. Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is a good driver. He sucks this year, but he needs to be scared at this point. Chris Buescher, he's out. Ryan Blaney, I mean, he's got to figure some stuff out, but he's a great driver. The standing
But
champ
to be
is
fair,
not even going to make the playoffs this year.
the playoffs is not technically winning in. It's only winning in if 12 or less drivers have won throughout the year.
It's 16.
16, whatever, 16. Is
Yeah.
it 16?
It's 16. Yep. 16. Okay, let's talk about a
Okay, so
guy
back
that
to Suarez then. Average finish 19. So he's right there anyway. He should be in. And he's won. That takes a lot.
Okay,
And 16 drivers, you could easily
okay,
you
wait.
could easily say
What about
that
this? All right.
Suarez, Cindric are both top 16 drivers this year.
Nope, because look at the guys you're going to kick out. We had this conversation episode 1 of this season. Who's going to be there in the playoffs that wasn't last year and who was going to get kicked. And we had this debate. We said that it's hard to say any of these drivers would get kicked out because you look at seasons like Chastain has had. You look at Busch and Logano and Bowman and Bubba and Buescher and Blaney. Wow, lots of B's. And then you have a newcomer like Ty Gibbs who has had a season of his life, stands 8 in the regular season standings. I mean, he's been up there just about every race, and now he's not going to make the playoffs.
He's going to make the playoffs. He's fine.
You don't know that.
He's top 16. He's
He's
pretty
top
much
16
guaranteed.
now. He's top 16 now. But if freaking Josh Berry just squeaks his wiener out like a little bit further on and if someone spins right at the end, he could sneak by and Josh Berry takes a
Well,
spot
good
away
for
from Ty
him. He
Gibbs.
put himself in that opportunity to win it. He's
Yeah,
second
yeah,
place running the whole
okay,
day.
all
He
right, all
should
right.
win. Ty
Ugh.
Gibbs needs to buck up, Buttercup, and freaking win a race.
He's your guy. Why are you dissing your guy? I went back in my notes. I said Cindric was going to win a race this year. You said Gibbs. Now,
I
he's
know. I
basically
still
got
think
to
he's
now.
gonna win a race.
If he
He's
doesn't win a
still.
race, he's not making the playoffs.
He just needs to
I'm
piece it all
saying it
together.
right now. I'm saying it right now. Ty Gibbs won't make the playoffs if he doesn't win a race. Write that down.
No. Okay, I'll write that down, and it's gonna be wrong. I'm gonna put that on my bedroom wall right now, and I'll prove you wrong. Because Ty Gibbs will be a top 12 driver probably by the end of the year.
But
And I'm
we
assuming
need
even with
to
the
talk
win.
about this because there's already 9 winners this year. 9 different winners. There's only 7 spots left. Pick the next 7.
Well, let's see.
You don't need to
Busher,
do that.
I say Busher. You know,
Okay.
Gibbs, Bowman, I like a lot, and then I don't know any Fords other than Busher.
You don't think Logano will squeak
Blaney
one out?
might. Logano is looking a little better. So yeah, I would say those
That's
off the
1,
top of my
2,
head, and
3,
then
4, 5,
Truex.
6. You said exactly 7. So okay. Very good, very good. But you know that someone else is going to get a win this year. We got
Yeah.
Iowa. Iowa is a complete unknown. There's not a lot of drivers that have any experience at Iowa. Plus, this is going to be a weird year at Iowa. Did you hear what's going on there with their track?
No.
So they had to repave the track this year, and they started paving, and it got too cold, so they had to stop paving, and so they have only like 2 or 3 lines that are done around the track, and they couldn't go back to paving once it got warmer again because NASCAR requires you to do a test after a new pavement, and so they couldn't pave and run a test. So now we're gonna go on a half resurfaced track. From what
That sounds like a Logano special right here. A track
That's what
that
I mean.
nobody's really
That's what I
knowing.
mean.
So I think he might get it.
Okay, so
Definitely a high finisher.
that's one of your 7. I get it, but anything can happen. I mean, you could have any of these other guys that have been a no-name. You could have Suarez come in there and win a second one. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything for the playoffs.
I would love to
but
see a Noah Gragson to win a race this year too. He's
okay,
been looking sharp.
Okay, great. Now, who are you gonna kick out?
It doesn't matter.
That's what I
if
mean
you don't
by
get a
that.
win, you don't deserve to be in there.
I think
Noah Gragson, I would argue, deserves to be in the playoffs, and he doesn't have a win.
I know that. That's why I'm saying that this
Even
is
without a win.
bullshit. Yes, that's why I'm saying it's bullshit. I feel like if you get a win, there should be another criteria. Like you make it automatically if you have an average finish of 15 or lower, and you got a win. That way, you'll get good cars in this. I mean, that kicks out Suarez. I think.
I mean,
That'll probably kick Keselowski. Keselowski probably gets kicked out.
Comparing this to basketball again, you have the conference tournament at the end of the year that if you win that, you're automatically into March Madness. It's the same thing. You could have the shittiest of all teams. I think that happened last year or this year. You had like a really higher seed, like a 10 seed in the tournament, and they somehow won their conference championship
out of the MAC.
Yeah.
What was it?
Same
last
thing.
year that
What,
made
you're
that
not
big
going to allow them in as conference champions?
Well, NASCAR, like any other big organization like this, including the NCAA, they're a business, and they need a storyline, and yeah, to throw in a no-name team when you have, what is it, 62, 104 teams that make the tournament. Is that right? Isn't it 64 or 62?
Yeah, 64 on 64 on each
I
side?
had it.
32 on each side? I don't know.
No, it's more than 32. It's 32 per bracket, I think, so times 4.
Yeah, something like that.
So, yeah, 120 something. you can do that when you have 120 some teams in there. You can put in someone like that has that Cinderella story. When you only have 16 drivers, you're taking away the spotlight from one of your stars. That is the reason why some people tune in every week.
Yeah,
That's
but you
money
really only
lost.
have 32 full-time drivers that can make the playoffs anyway. So that's
But
your
I
top
can
%50.
name 15 that have a legitimate chance of winning.
Okay, and there's 16 spots.
Yeah, well,
A legitimate chance of winning doesn't mean that they deserve to be in the playoffs.
I'm saying a legitimate chance of
Winning
winning
means they deserve to be in the
the
playoffs, especially
championship.
if you're only one of like 10 drivers throughout the year to win.
But it's gonna. Telling you right now that there's only gonna be 3 spots that is gonna be available. I think that no, that's pushing it. I say there's 5 spots that people will make on points. So I mean, I think you just have too many drivers out there that deserve that spot. Just for like, if you're a NASCAR fan and want the best possible races at the end of the year through Atlanta, the Glen, and Bristol for those first 3 races before the cut, that is gonna make that should get your blood moving. I mean, to have the best drivers at that point. I think we're gonna go in circles here.
I still think, yeah, agree to disagree. I still think the best driver is the guy who won a race, and they should definitely get in over anybody who has not won a race this year. But yeah, to get off this now and get into the Kyle Larson drama about getting a playoff waiver. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Of course, yeah. I think
I do because I mean,
I don't think
it
anybody disagrees with it.
it's well, yeah, and it's the exact same thing I just said. NASCAR is a corporation that's out there to make money. If they don't grant him that waiver, then you lose so many fans, including all the IndyCar fans that are tuning in to watch the driver that tried to make history. They're all coming to watch that, and as soon as you say that it's just
Yeah, but
bullshit,
they're
and
a
they're
shitty
out.
business apparently because they wouldn't even resume that race. So
Now that is true. That's true. I mean,
NASCAR
NASCAR does
surprises me
make
a lot of
some.
the time.
They make some
Questionable
questionable decisions,
decisions.
but okay. So conspiracy. I have a few conspiracies I want to talk about here, but I was thinking about this loss after, or not the loss. I picture it as a loss because I didn't get to finish watching that race. But from them calling that race, I thought about it, and they called that race just before a time that I can't remember. It's either 11:30 or midnight. It was like minutes before that. And you know what? There was TV deals on Fox, so it's all coming back to Fox. There's TV deals that NASCAR has to pay out whoever whoever spot that they're going to take by increasing the length of that race. And uh and I don't know if it's NASCAR that has to cover that or Fox has to cover it or what, but man, am I just glad that Fox is done for the year. We're going to NBC.
Yeah,
Actually, we're going to
score.
USA, which is an NBC um network, but USA for the next 2, and then we'll go NBC just about the rest.
I am so freaking happy Fox is done. I
I
can't
know.
handle that broadcast.
It's a rough one.
I
It
can't
is
handle the
rough.
cameras. I can't handle every blunder they had all season, just
They
like
had some really
statistics
bad
wise.
ones. Oh man, I think
Letting
they had him.
Charlotte go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's I was watching a uh Oakland A's game. I don't know why. And they have a female announcer that basically deserves to be on the Fox broadcast. She's like, "Oh my God, he must have ate his Wheaties," and then like, I mean, there's like, she has this whole highlight reel of like the worst sayings in baseball. Like, she's horrible, but um, she should join the Fox team. But we're getting NBC back, and I'm excited to see how things go. Um, should be good. Watch them like completely fuck it up, and we're like begging for Fox. I
Yeah.
just shot out a tweet on our page, dissing Fox, and like I tagged them and everything, and NBC is on there. So I'm really hoping that I don't eat that tweet.
They sponsor us down the road.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. This hat is
I'm
gonna
just
have
not
an
gonna accept
NBC
it.
logo
We could
there.
be poor
Yeah,
sleeping
no,
under a bridge, and they'll offer us a position, and we'll just say no.
I feel like
I don't want to do it.
we should try to get a deal with like Amazon Prime or something because we're bigger and better than Fox.
Yeah.
No, we should. Oh, NASCAR Hub is gone from Fox, which was
Yeah, I'm
actually one of
sad
the
about
only
that.
cool
It was
things
the
about
only good
Fox
one.
NASCAR.
Yep.
Um, that's gone. Let's take their place, but not on Fox.
Should.
We
Let's
should
do
team up with
like
those guys.
I haven't heard like anything on Sling. Let's do like one of those streaming sites that are like
We're not doing
up and
Sling.
coming.
Who do
Fubu,
you know that
Fubo.
has? Okay,
Nobody,
Fubo.
but that's why we deserve to be on it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh no, like when you have the Roku and you get those free channels and they're all
Yeah.
knockoff brands, like the HGTV is actually like Home Improvement channel instead of well, I don't know what the original is, but like it's
Yeah.
like just slightly off, or like the Discovery is actually like Discover It channel, where we just do the knockoff versions of everything that like we just do the same thing. We're just
Yeah.
copying them. That's awesome.
I'm down. Did
So
you hear the new EV NASCAR league or whatever they're calling it?
the EV,
Yeah, the
no,
electric vehicle one.
yeah,
Dana White is trying to start this up.
really?
Yeah, he's trying
It
to
would
work
be
out a deal
sick.
for an
It'd
electric
be so
series.
sick if Dana White was like in charge of that.
It would be
I
cool.
think it would get so much cooler. I mean, I'm not even a fighting fan, but he does a phenomenal job at getting that like the production value up there. I know for sure if he took that over, there's not a single race that'd be on Fox.
I feel
Like
like
it's
I
freaking
just
cool.
imagine that series. I know it's electric cars, but I just imagine like Mad Max type of thing, like
Oh
just
yeah,
wrecking on purpose. Like everybody, there's just explosions going on.
Mad Max out soon. That was an ad. No, it wasn't. We don't we don't have ads. Except
Yet,
as Hornitas. Drink tequila. I'm gonna take a shot
responsibly.
because might as well.
Drinking and driving only when someone else drives for you.
Yeah.
In the U.S. Postal Service.
Thank you for the ad read. That was horrible. That shot was delicious. The ad read was horrible. Whew, what were we even talking? Oh, Dana White. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's gonna be awesome. I'm all flattered, flustered. Oh boy, one will do it. Okay. Another story out of Sonoma. Actually, I have two here. Maybe a few more. We'll see. Um, Denny Hamlin has engine problems in race 2. So, I think he said this fucker detonated. I think that's what he said on the radio.
Yeah, it
It
just
was pretty
broke.
cool. So get
Yeah.
this. Okay, I'll give you the facts, and then let's run this idea that I had. So, you know, engines only run a maximum of 3 races a year. This was that engine's second race. It was supposed to go to Pocono. Okay, so it should have had plenty left. It only raced 1 race and 2 laps. Plus, practice and qualifying, whatever. It blew up. All right. Now, did you happen to know how many career starts Denny Hamlin had as of this past Sunday at Sonoma? 666 start. So 666. Okay, get
Ooh.
that. Wait. Denny Hamlin weighed in for his pre-race weigh-in, which is not required. That he just did. 166 pounds and 6 ounces.
Okay.
1666. And it's the day that his engine blows up on him. I wish it was lap 6 or 66, but
Yeah.
do you think the devil hates Denny Hamlin?
Do we know if
Or
it was
Denny
like
Hamlin
mile
is the
6?
devil?
He could be. He could be. I could see it. He's decent looking like the devil. He has that just like
Wait, the devil's good
personality.
looking?
Yeah.
You
Hey, I give credit where credit is due.
No, I'm just kidding.
He has to lure
We don't
people
use that
down
word.
there somehow.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I guess
No,
get him on
he
his
has
good
that
looks.
connotation of I don't know. He just looks like he could be the devil. You see, like Lucifer, that TV show, he kind of just looks
Oh,
like
you know
Lucifer.
what? You're right. That he plays up that like good looking, like
Yeah,
the, and he tricks you into it.
yeah. Not a lot of
Okay.
people like him, but some people do. So
I, I I
very
had no
similar to the devil.
I had
You
no
got those
problem.
cults.
I had no problem with Denny Hamlin until I started listening to his podcast, and now I hate that guy's guts.
Yeah, because
He's
ours is so
such
much
a
better.
freaking baby. I don't know why I even listen, but he's such a baby. He complains about everything, and he thinks anytime that anyone does anything wrong, he would have never made a mistake like that, and like he's better than everyone. And well, simply not true. You would have won that race if you're better than everyone.
Is that a
He,
little
I,
bit of a British accent? Why'd you go with that?
did I?
I don't know, it just sounded like
I'm surprised it
um,
wasn't a Mexican one after the Hornitas. Hornitas.
I
Drink
can't wait for Mexico in 2
tequila.
weeks now. I'm gonna have a
Oh
bunch of
yeah.
hornitos down there.
Do I have
Can't drink
to
water.
do I have to solo pod or are we gonna get one in?
Now we'll get one in.
What days are you going?
We're intercontinental podcast.
I don't know. Last week we did record while I was in Canada, but that one got lost because of our new freaking server, which is dead now. It's gone.
I
We're
hate the
upgraded.
cloud.
We do Riverside now. Riverside.
Yeah.
Drink responsibly.
Fuck the cloud. We're in the river.
I'm gonna do another shot. This is freaking good. Usually I hate tequila shots, but okay. Did you see the Xfinity race? SVG and Austin Hill going back and forth, and
Hell
SVG
yeah.
like is not afraid of contact in NASCAR. Like he just
You don't give a
dumps
shit.
people and goes. He's like, I mean, I won the race, so I don't really care what you have
And
to say.
everybody loves him, so he gets away with it. And he gets his second win, I believe, of the season for Xfinity.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him. I can't wait to see him back, tearing up Cup Series.
Yeah, he'll come back for I think it's only one more race this year, or is it two? I don't know, but I know we have the Chicago street race coming up on July 7th, right after the 4th. We're probably going to be in person together, but not at the race unless you want to go. We'll think
I'll go.
about it. We'll
Yeah.
think. We'll think about it. That's like 4th of July weekend. So, no, it's not. Is it? How many days is the 4th to the 7th?
It's at least 4.
It's at least 4. But yeah, I mean, these guys have built this rivalry together now, and I kind of love it
And
because
they're both gonna bring it to the Cup Series
they are, and well, they will. But I think
eventually.
that these experienced drivers are not going to put up with their shit and immediately dump them and say, "Hey, get in your place. You don't come to our series and do that to us. You're not going to
Yeah,
race dirty." Because people are saying that SVG was uh, that one was like over the line. I mean, it was so deliberate and like so obvious, and I mean that's exactly what he did in Australia. If you look at his highlights in Australia, he had no problem just crushing people. But in Australia, you get penalized for that. Here, it's like, eh, bad
yeah.
blood, or
It's like a
you know.
slap on the wrist. Hey, try not to do that
I
again.
mean, NASCAR loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they
When
do.
that stuff
They
happens,
show it all the time.
I
They're
know.
looking for any type of like news that they can get out there.
Yeah.
But with Stuart Haas Racing closing down, that's sad. There's going to be a couple open drivers already needing some homes. 23XI is looking to buy a car. So
I
we'll
think they
see
do.
where everybody
So,
goes and how this all shapes out.
so do you think that this is the opportunity um for Denny Hamlin to buy himself or to get bought out and then go race for himself with that third car? I mean, I know that
That'd be
he
cool.
still was under contract, but he's always talked about going to race for himself.
Yeah, I can
I
see
mean,
that. This is probably a good opportunity, better opportunity as any to go
yeah,
do
with
it.
this many cars open, what is it? Is it 3 cars? Do you know?
I believe 3 at
3. Yeah,
least.
I have the notes somewhere, but it's really just not very easy for me to do work. 1, 2. So Gregson, Barry. So I think Gregson has basically secured his spot that he's going to be a driver next year. Barry's got something to prove, and I would say he's not like guaranteed. You got Ryan Preece, another on the edge. I don't know if he'll make it. Preece hasn't like he had good races in the past, and then all of a sudden kind of just sucks.
Yeah, and then you look at like other teams too, Trackhouse, and you got Martin Truex that we don't know if he's retiring after this year or what, and I mean that's hurting that team because they don't know if they should build up around
Yeah.
someone younger or like hold out for Truex. It's never a good thing to hold out this long without knowing. So we'll see
Right.
how all that plays out too.
Yeah, it turns out that Chase Briscoe. We forgot Chase Briscoe. Briscoe will easily find another spot. I don't know where it'll be. I don't think he fits in with the 2311 team. And I don't know why. I just feel like he doesn't have that like
The
it's not
pizzazz,
yeah. It's
the
not the
it factor.
pizzazz, but it's like yeah, it's the X factor that you don't X factor you can't put your tongue on like what it is, but I don't think he has the 23 XI X.
He just says
Yeah.
the I right now.
Yeah, he's just the 23i. Yep. I don't know. I guess you could have some Xfinity guys come in. That opens up 4 spots. I think I think 2 of them get re-signed easy. No questions asked. Gragson and Briscoe. That leaves 2 spots open. Plus then you have Truex that could retire. I think you have you'll probably get some of those little guys that get booted, like that keep bouncing between the 2 series, and of course you're going to have some guys come back up. So I think it's too early to speculate. I think we need to pay attention to that. Maybe we'll do an episode where we really focus on what we think the alignment's going to be next year, but we're going to need to do more research and more digging. I don't watch the Xfinity series enough to know. I just kind of get the highlights, and if I'm not doing anything on a Saturday night, which is rare these days because I'm super popular, then I'll give it a watch. But
I think that's about a wrap for this episode, and later this week we'll have a preview to the next race.
Yeah, I think Iowa has a lot of question marks, so it might be a quick episode, but I am excited to be back here. It was too long, Dick. We waited way too long, but
Do have
we
a long
are
dick,
straightened
they
out.
say.
We're so
And
straightened
my
out
dick
now.
is definitely straight as well.
This was like the dirtiest episode we've ever had. Like I don't know what's going on here. We both talked about our own wieners, and oh boy. Oh, speaking of dirty, let's just keep it dirty then. Did you see during the Edmonton Oilers games during the playoffs? They're in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, and this girl with big old knockers just flashed everyone like just on national TV.
That's
Videos going
awesome.
around, and they are confirmed fake. But they do look good.
Hey,
Hey.
will take a look at that later today.
Sometime around 9:30 when the lights start getting dim and business reasons. Now you just have to talk about sports. We're a sports kind of lifestyle podcast. So, all right, we will preview Iowa later this week. It's been a pleasure, Dick, and thank you guys for putting up with us. Remember, we drink, they drive. Stay safe, stay classy.